Alright guys, so the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is officially here, and with this being the new film from Blumhouse, and it stars with Josh Hutcherson, Matthew Lillard, Elizabeth Yale, and so much more. And this is based on the video game of Five Nights at Freddy's with the animatronics that's for Freddy Fasbear, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and so much more. And this will be my official review for the film, obviously no spoilers. And now, going in the film, this film was in development for so long, and even for who was gonna make it, and even though that it's been in the making for so long, especially for like the hardcore fans of the games, and even with having being like made from Blumhouse, and with my initial thoughts on it, I thought this was a solid film. Again, like even though like I had some issues with the film like overall, but it's definitely good, but like not great by any means. But I feel like this was like a spooky, fun time, and even with this being PG-13 and trying to approach to younger viewers, I think this was solid. And now, with the simple premise of this film is with Mike Schmidt, played by Josh Hutcherson, and fired from his job as a mall security guard, and gets a job as a night security guard at a restaurant called Freddy Fasbear's Pizzeria, and even for that he learns the dark history behind all of it, especially with the animatronics and what happened, especially with the tragedies and why it closed down due to some recent incidents that have happened, and even that it was cool to learn like the lore of the game, especially with the hardcore fans that I definitely know every bit of it. But even so, like I had my time with it, and it was solid. It was definitely good. But even with the plot of the film, and some parts were definitely not good. But there are some cool reveals that I hear. Even there are some cameos from YouTubers, some which you probably know, but I won't spoil what it is. But it was definitely cool to see. And now, as well as for the cast, of which I definitely enjoyed, you with Josh Hutcherson's Mike Schmidt. This guy was perfect for the role, and he with Matthew Lilliard, who's over Scream fame. Like he did amazing as the counselor Steve Haglin, but we all know that he is William Afton, as it said like in the games. With Piper Lubo, who plays Abby, Mike's sister in the film, and even with these two on screen, they have such good chemistry with each other. And with Mike trying to take care of his sister as sort of like her guardian, as he's trying to get this job at the pizza restaurant, and like even have these two connected. But it was so like fun to see. And even with like Elizabeth who plays Vanessa, the officer. And in the film, I definitely enjoyed her presence. But even though with the cast, like they definitely nailed the roles. But even with the entire atmosphere, it sort of felt good. But I feel like even with the hardcore fans of the game, even though with the lore, there were some parts of the film that they were sort of missing, and even with the animatronics. But that was fun to see. But I feel like throughout the middle of the film, it sort of takes it like somewhere else. Even with my overall issues that I have with this film, and even with the hardcore fans that enjoy the film, good for them. But these are just my opinions. But even with the issues that I have, some things that I didn't like. But even like with the animatronics, they were cool to see. But I feel like the lore and some parts of the game, it was just missing from this film. Like it sort of felt like it took things like somewhere else. Especially learning about Mike's backstory, especially with his family, but even something I won't go too much into detail, but it sort of takes somewhere at which a parts of the game, the lore was sort of not in it, and even with the kills that I definitely enjoyed, and how they approach this to be safe, especially that this is a PG-13 horror film. Like even with the kills that they were definitely cool to see, and how it tried to make it not so gory and have impact on the viewer, but it's even with the overall tone, but it felt like a fun spooky time. And even with the film in general, I felt like some parts were a bit out of place. I mean, and for me, I did not play the games, but it was sort of interesting on how parts of the games were adapted, but it sort of felt like the applied and everything else was a little bit messy, and how so some parts that I definitely did not like, but even with the cool stuff that happens, it was cool. But like, even just to take a look at the film in general, it sort of felt, sort of not good, but it was definitely not great. But yes, and I still have my issues with the film, but there were some good parts in general. Even with the approach that Blumhouse was trying to make, and especially with bringing it all to life and doing an adaptation, if not the most popular video game of all time, and even with director Emma Turner, I think she did a good job, even with the hardcore fans, and I'll definitely point out Easter eggs and so much more. But this was a solid good time, but it was fun in a good way. Even everything that gets revealed, especially in the third act and in the final minutes of the movie, and teasing up for the next film, even Blumhouse, I try to make a franchise out of this with 3 movies, and even with this film that I found to be like good but not that great, and even like proud that they're gonna make 3 films out of this, and even with the other ones, and even like I had my issues with the film, I had my time with it, but even with like things in the film that were just not for me, but even it was great to learn about the lore of the games, but even with the Blumhouse, like they're trying to make a trilogy, but even though like I had my time with it, and I was entertained, and it was a fun, spooky time. And yeah, so with my final thoughts to wrap up this whole thing, I really enjoyed Five Nights at Freddy's. I thought this was a solid film. Like it was good, but not great. And I definitely recommend this film, especially if you're someone that's looking to watch this movie, especially during a Halloween weekend. I mean, it is streaming on Peacock as well. I mean, even with the cast, they were amazing, especially with Josh Hutcherson, Matthew Lilliard, and so much more. But I feel like it was a mess, and it's even with the plots at some points I definitely did not enjoy it. I mean, the animatronics were fantastic. I definitely enjoyed Freddy Fasbear and so for the rest of them, but I definitely had my time with it, and it was solid. But yeah, like those my thoughts. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on what do you guys think of the movie? Like, did you enjoy it? And give me a rating 1 to 10. Or what did you think of Five Nights at Freddy's? So don't forget to give it a like and subscribe and turn on notification bell, and also follow my social, which are linked down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in next video. Peace.